Hello, thank you for joining me for another Excel video. This is Mark Moore, and I am going to share with you something that I learned today that I did not know Excel could do. But before we get into the new stuff, let me do a little bit of background about the fill handle, which is where the trick is that I learned today. Excuse me. Okay, so the fill handle is a quick way to fill data in a certain pattern. So right here in the empty spreadsheet, I'm just going to type in the number 1 and I press enter. The fill handle is the little square at the bottom right of the active cell. You can see that there's a little filled in square, and if I hover my mouse over it, it becomes a little plus sign. Well, if I left click and I drag down, it will fill the ones. So that's an easy way to fill in data. Now I'm going to delete this. But Excel also tries to help you out. So if I put a 1 and a 2, now if I click on the 2 and I drag it down, I just get the 2's. But if I highlight the 1 and the 2, Excel will try to infer the pattern and fill it out for me. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a quick way to do a count. And once again, it tries to infer the pattern. So if I do 3, and let me get rid of this other data here, and then I drag it down, it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So that's an easy way to fill in a pattern without having to do any math. That's the basic use of the fill handle. The fill handle also works with formulas. So if I do equals 1, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply it times 100. I can drag down the formulas. And since they are not absolute references, meaning I don't have the dollar signs, the B will change to, I'm sorry, not the B, the 3 will change to a 4 or change to a 5. You can also drag to the right. It will still work, but it might not work exactly as you wanted because here I'm doing B5 times 100. If I drag to the right, now I'm doing C5 times 500. But the fill handle works both horizontally and vertically. The other trick I'm going to show you is if you have a very long number of lists, right? So for example, I'll show you a quick trick. I want to fill this in from row 21 to, let's say, row 10,000. But I don't want to scroll all the way down to 10,000. So what you do is I have to keep in mind, I want to go to B 10,000. So I press F5. That's the go-to dialog box. I type in B 10, 1, 2, 3, 10,000. Now I'm at B10,000, but now I want to go all the way up. So I press Control, keep it pressed, press Shift, keep it pressed, and press the up arrow. So it's Control, Shift, up arrow, all pressed at the same time. That moves up, selects, and now if I let's pretend I want to type in the number, I don't know, 45. I type in 45, it types it in at the bottom, but don't worry about it. Now you press Control Enter, and it fills in everything that was highlighted up to row 10,000. So why did I do this? Because I wanted to show you. If you're going to drag this down, this formula, all the way down to 10,000 or a million, because Excel has a million rows, it'll take you forever. So you don't have to do that. What you do is in the fill handle, instead of clicking, you simply double click. And Excel will fill it down to the first empty row that it finds. I'm going to press Control down, and it filled it down to C 10,000. So those are the tricks of the fill handle, but I knew all of that. Hopefully now you know it. Let me show you the new stuff that I learned that I was so happy when I learned something new in Excel. I'm just going to go ahead and delete the stuff, make this, excuse me, a little bit cleaner. Actually, let me just delete 1. Let me do 1 and 2. Now watch this. You highlight this, just like we've been doing, but instead of left click and drag, The new trick is you right click and drag. I'm dragging this down. It looks like it's going to fill it in like usual, and it will, but as soon as I let go of the right mouse button, I have all these new options. I can copy the cells, I can fill it in a series, which is what we've usually done. I can fill the formatting, fill without the formatting. I can even apply trends like a linear or an exponential growth trend. And if I go to series, I can have it linear, growth, date, some type of date unit, which I'll talk to you in a little bit. I can have a trend, and I can even do a step value if I wanted to jump by threes or fives, and I can have it stop at a certain value. So all of these options are there just if you right click and drag. The other cool thing about dates in particular with the right click and drag is the following. Let me go ahead over here to column D, and we'll do 1/1/2019. I'm going to go ahead and right click and drag. I am going to not fill days because that's just going to be a 1, 2, 3, right? I'm going to fill the weekdays. And look what this does. It goes January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It skips the 5th and the 6th because those are weekends, and it starts back on the Monday. I think that's really cool. And you can prove that it starts on the Monday because a date is just a number, and you can change the format to show the name of the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point to D7. I'm going to get the exact same value, but I'm going to go to the custom number format, which there's a couple ways to get there, but I'm going to click on this little button, go to custom, and just start typing in D's for days. And I can see that there's my Monday. Click OK, and now I can double click, and now I have all the days there. So it actually only does the weekdays. So highlighting something and right clicking will give you a lot of options that you didn't have normally when you left click. I found that out. I did not know it could do that, and I'm going to use that from now on because it makes, for me at least, managing dates very easy. And that's it for this video. Thank you for listening, and I hope this is useful, and I will catch you in the next video.